But it's wonderful to see everyone and so many of you. So welcome, to this webinar on how to engage young people in supported internships. It's been part of a series of webinars. We've done 3 others, and I'll share the links to those at the end of the session as well. So I'm Lucy, I'm the Communications and Network Coordinator for Internships Work. And I'm just going to go through a bit of housekeeping, which you may have already heard if you've come to our other sessions. So apologies if that's the case, feel free to switch off. But for those who haven't, we just ask that everyone keeps their mic off when they're not speaking so that we can hear the speakers as clearly as possible. We've got the Q&A function on today. So if you go to the top banner, you should see the Q&A button. And if you can also write who your question is to, that'll help us because we've got a fair few speakers today, which is really exciting. But that'll help us just make sure we're asking the correct person your question. We've also got the chat function, so we really want this to be as interactive as possible, so feel free to write comments in there and also connect as well. And if you'd like to begin by writing who you are, where you're from, and maybe what you're hoping to get out of this session, that'd be really great just to get a sense of the room. If you haven't noticed joining as well, this session is recorded. So if you're feeling a bit camera shy, that's totally fine. Feel free to pop that one off. And it's so that we can share it with anyone who can't attend and also put it on the website as a resource for people ongoing. So the recording will be shared after, along with the resources, links and slides that are shared today as well. And if you would like live captions, you can turn those on by going to the top banner and clicking more, and then going to language and speech and clicking turn on live captions. And if for whatever reason that's not showing up in the recording, we'll have closed captions as well. So many of you may be familiar with NDTi, the National Development Team for Inclusion, but if you're not, we're a social change organisation working to inspire an inclusive society where people can live the life they choose. And one of the ways that we do that is through the Internships Work programme, which aims to improve supported internships for across England. And we do this with DFN Project Search, who cover the employment side, and BASE, who cover the job coach side, and then also the quality using the SIGWAF. And it's funded by the Department for Education, began in September 2022, and we're currently in the 4th year because it was extended, which will end in March 2026. So we're trying to get in as much support as possible until then. And I'll just hand over to Carmel to give us a bit of a rundown of the session. That's all right.
Thank you. Thanks, Lucy. So we're going to hear from, I think, Rachel from the Department for Education, and kind of it'd be really helpful because it always sets the context for all this work and the support that we've got from the DFE, which is absolutely brilliant and very helpful. Then we're going to talk a bit about how, I mean, in an ideal world, you sort of almost wouldn't need to market supported internships because it would be part of the pathway for young people, and we'd be identifying it at a very early age, and sort of it would naturally happen that people would be pointed towards supported internships because we'd have been working on it for years. But we know that that's not the case, and we know that we hear all the time from parents who say, I didn't know anything about supported internships, or I don't know. I was on a session this morning where parents said, I don't think many parents know about this. So, you know, it's sort of like you get that from parents, we don't know about it, and also from young people. I remember talking to a group of young people, and none of them had heard about supported internship until the year that they were going into it. So the year just previous to them joining the programme. So again, you know, we know despite all the work that you do and all the hard work you put out there, it's like you can never get enough of the message out there. So we're going to hear from Cornwall and from Liverpool about what they've done to really push that message out there and to get as many people as possible aware of the opportunity. So that's going to be really exciting to hear from them and what they've achieved. We're also going to hear about a young person's journey, first-hand experience, and from a young inclusion champion. And then DFN Project Search is going to talk a little bit about how they have tried to reach out to parents and carers. I know a lot of you work with them, but kind of what some tips and tricks from them and how to reach out to people and get to them. And then a nice Q&A at the end. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Carmel, and also for going through kind of the context, because it is a little bit, yeah, complicated of how do we actually get the message out there. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to move on to our first speaker. So we've got Rachel from for the Department for Education, who'll give an introduction. Over to you, Rachel.
Thanks so much, Lucy, and thanks, Carmel. Thanks to everyone for joining today. It's great to see so many people here for this really important webinar on engaging young people. So I'm Rachel Leah. I work at the Department for Education and I'm the policy lead for supported internships. Hopefully many of you will know that we've invested quite a lot of money into supported internships over the last few years, around £30 million, because we know how important they are as a pathway to support young people who are furthest from the labour market and need that more support to get to transition from education into employment. So some of the work Lucy talked about before with the Internships Work programme is what that money has gone towards doing. So we've been delivering that investment together, and we've doubled internship numbers to around 4,500 per year, which is really exciting, creating more opportunities for young people to take part in the programme. We've also improved quality across the country, engaged more employers to offer a range of placements. And we've also tested supported internships with young people without education and health and care plans in some local authorities taking part in that pilot. So all of that is thanks to commitment from partners across the system who are involved in supported internships, including local authority staff, who I know there's many here today, staff at colleges delivering the programmes, involvement from employers, supported employment agencies, the job coaches who are so crucial to supporting the young people and their placements, and obviously the sort of commitment from young people themselves to take part and take that risk, because it is a bit of a risk doing something new, a different programme, and parents and carers supporting them on their journeys. So big thank you to everyone who's been involved in the work so far, and thanks for joining today. So we really want more young people to be aware of these opportunities, as Carmel said, from the earlier stages to make that part of their ambitions to work towards, and want them to be able to take part in one if they want to. So that's part of the work we've been doing to kind of grow the numbers and increase those opportunities for people. So it's really great that this webinar is focused on how to engage young people, and we know how powerful it is to hear from young people themselves about what's worked. So it's great we've got lots of young people sharing their story today, including Rebecca, who's a supported intern in our team at DFE, which is really exciting. So thanks, that's just everything from me. Looking forward to hearing more from the local authorities and young people we've got today.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Rachel. Especially kind of spooking some of the things down the line. Really looking forward to hearing about Rebecca as well, and her internship so far. So next up, we're going to hear from Linda Jordan, who's the London Regional Lead for Internships Work, about engaging young people in their plans for employment. Over to you, Linda.
Thanks, Lucy. Hello, everyone. So I'm just going to talk for a short while about supporting young people to engage around thinking about their futures from school year 9 when they become 14, because that is actually a statutory requirement. So Lucy, can you have the next slide? Yeah. So you all know this, but it's really important to remind everybody that the Code of Practice, that's now 10 years old, does make it absolutely clear what should happen in terms of supporting young people to plan for employment. So it is a statutory requirement that the Education, Health and Care Plan review at year 9 and every review thereafter focuses on preparing for adulthood. And obviously we should have those ideas and thinking about preparing for adulthood from the early years, and the code sets out what that means. But from year 9, it is a legal requirement. And that obviously means that schools are really a key partner in that process, because, you know, the majority of children at school, we know that some aren't, but this applies to them as well. But for young people in school, they have their EHC plan annual review. And at year 9, there is that requirement to start planning for employment. And what that means, and the Code of Practice sets out, you know, that part of that conversation has got to be starting to think what young people are going to be doing when they leave education, when they leave their tertiary education, and the support that they need. Next slide. So everyone's aware of the Preparing for Adulthood theme in the Code of Practice, and what that actually says should be happening from year 9 is conversations about the four pathways, including employment. And as young people move through Key Stage 4, when they're getting up to 16, 17, we need to start making sure that for those that have got the highest support needs, are supported by adult social care as well as education, and adult social care need to be involved in supporting young people into employment. And so the Code of Practice really makes it clear that for those young people, we must align their education, health and care plan with their adult care and support planning, so that employment is part of everybody's business as young people move into adulthood. So in practice, it means that at the year 9 review, we need to be identifying young people that are going to need supported employment. So by year 9, we're going to have a pretty clear understanding about those young people that are not going to be accessing level 2 when they get to 16. And we need to start having those person-centered conversations to identify young people's interests, their motivations. And ideally, we need to be doing that through vocational profiling. So at the year 9 annual review, if a young person is likely to need supported employment when they get to post-16, it's a really great idea to be doing vocational profiling so that we can start to really understand in quite a lot of depth what they are interested in, what motivates them, as well as their challenges, so that we can make sure that their work experience in year 11 is based on those things. And that means that by year 11, we've got a pretty good idea of the kinds of work experience that need to be built into the 16 to 19 study programme. So in terms of information, schools are in an absolutely perfect position to give young people and families information. And so that means that strategic plan for preparing for adulthood locally needs to make sure that schools have the information they need, that social care have the information they need, and health, so that at that year 9 review and reviews thereafter, families and young people are getting the information they need about employment pathways, including supported internships, so that they've got 2 or 3 years to start learning more, to be going to careers events, PFA fairs, etc., to find out more. But the seed needs to be sown at that year 9 review. And we need to make sure that in every area we've got that training going on, so that schools and social care and health understand what we mean by employment pathways, so that they can have those conversations in a joined up way with young people and families. So, it's really, and those of you on the call, working with our team, know that this is our kind of, our messages, that it's really important that locally there is a shared vision around employment support, so that everyone working in the system knows what we're aiming for, that everybody knows what works. And we do know what works. We've known what works. I think Carmel said that in her introductory. We do know how to support young people into employment, but it does require everybody being on the same page and understanding what we mean by employment pathways. And everyone needs to give the same kind of messaging, because there's nothing worse for young people and for families in getting different messages. So we've got examples where a school may think that none of the children in that school can work, and yet maybe a social worker or someone else in the system has talked about internships, etc. So it's really important that we have joined up messages, everyone on the same page, and everyone sharing, sharing what we know across the system. Really important that we have person-centered conversations. I think we're often a bit criticised for saying that we need to find out what young people want to do when they leave education. And obviously lots of young people can't say, but we know through person-centered conversations it is possible to find out what's important to anybody. So it's really important that we sort of resurrect person-centered planning in the system and do have those person-centered conversations, and so on and so forth. Young people's co-production all the way through. So just in terms of person-centred planning, it's really important that from the early years, absolutely, but when we get to that year 9 review, it's really important that we have these person-centred conversations so that we're really finding out as much as we can about young people, about the young person, so that we can plan for their next step. So we need to know what's important to them, what's important for them, what's working and not working, so that we can put the right support in place to move them towards their ambition. And there's just one example of a person-centred planning tool. We've got a whole suite of person-centred planning tools on our website that help with that basic conversation around what's important to you and important for you. This one is good day, bad day. If a young person's not able to say what's important to them and important for them, we've got all sorts of tools that we can use, like good day and bad day, to find out what matters to them. You know, if they have a really good day, it means that all the things that are important to them are happening, and vice versa with a bad day. Sorry about my cough. So have a look on our website if you're not familiar. Lots of tools to support those person-centred conversations when we're working with young people to plan for their adulthood. So I suppose in summary, engagement of young people around supported internships needs to start at school, and they need to start at the very latest at that year 9 annual review, when we are having those conversations about the future. And we do need to make sure that through Key Stage 4, young people are getting work experience, they're being supported to plan for the future, and getting all of the information that they and their families need. And then everything else that everybody's doing should be in addition to that. So if we can get this bit right, all of the work that we're going to hear about from now till the rest of this meeting is in addition to give more and more information and to support around internships.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Linda. That was really helpful to kind of set the scene of what in an ideal world can happen, and then now we can look at, well, until that's and in supplement to that, what are some of the great things that are happening in different local authorities. So we're going to hear from a local authority, Cornwall Council first. We're really excited to hear from Janine Bisson. So if you're ready, I'm going to hand over to you, Janine.
Brilliant. I'm going to share slides, Lucy, is that all right? Can I go on the
Absolutely, yes, I will stop sharing. And please do.
And yeah, and I always think, oh, I don't have much to say, and then I'll end up having lots. So if you want to wave at me when I'm looking like I'm running out of time, and I will, give me a bit of a warning. And at this point, I will have shared the wrong slide. So let's hope that it says supported internships when they come up. Brilliant. I think I've got the ones. Fantastic. Okay, so I thought I'd take you on a bit of a journey that we've been on around our social media and how we've used social media to try and engage young people. I'm not going to say that we are experts in this. This has been a learning journey for us. So it's just sharing what we've learned as we've gone along with it. We've a member of my team, Charlotte, who can't be here today. I wish she could, because she'd explain it so much better than I, but she has been doing an apprenticeship in marketing. So when she said, I'm doing this apprenticeship, I said, you know what your project should be? Supported internships. So she has kind of gone with it. But yeah, so I'll take you through the journey that we've gone on. So when we started, and this is when we sort of started looking at the work with NDTi, we were developing our action plan. And the first thing that sort of became apparent when we worked with our post-16 providers and young people is that we needed some sort of brand, something to sort of say, look, this is what we're doing and this is why we're doing it. So we developed this this kind of idea, diversity to thrive. So this was developed by our post-16 providers. It was their ideas, and with young people, and young people designed the kind of logo, if you like, in front of you. So that became our brand. So we had something that we could kind of use and identify. We had badges and stickers and all sorts to go with it. I guess step 2 was then making sure that we had clear information on our website. So actually, when we signposted to anything, we could say, there's the information, it's all there, it's all in one place. And for Cornwall, we've got a site called Cornwall Opportunities, which is our one-stop shop for any careers information for all ages. And there are particular kind of parts of that website. We've got a Send Hub that we've done quite a lot of work on in terms of the post-16 opportunities, but also supported internships. Within this site, there is employer information as well, so we could hold information about diversity to thrive and the resources that we've got available. I think it's always a work in progress. We've got some supported interns that are in the council at the moment, and their job is to make sure that this website is doing what it should do, so from their perspective. So we're constantly kind of looking at that. I guess sort of rushing through a bit, but step 3 is looking at what content we had. So if we wanted to tell people about supported internships, how could we tell them in an exciting and informative way about what they are and what they've meant to young people and the sort of impact that they're having? So we did some work across our provider network to create some videos. So on Cornwall Opportunities, we've got a Send Showcase, which has got lots of case studies of young people talking about their journey and about supported internships and the impact and how they got into it. And, you know, so we've got this kind of record, and what we aim to do is use these as a bit of a starting point for conversations with young people. Is also about having that other sort of content in terms of flyers and information. So when we're at events or we're putting information out there, it's all there. I think somebody's got their mic off and they're typing. So yeah, I won't play this video, but I have put links on all of the pages, so the slides can go out and yeah, have a look at what we've done. It's a work in progress, definitely, and we want to collect more of those kind of case studies. So the next point was kind of to use that information we've got to start then promoting that offer out. So one of the sort of ways that we've done this is by, we've got a magazine or an organisation that we work with who's developed a magazine with young people called Open Doors. So this was part of our work experience programme, because I think the speaker before is absolutely right. It's about those kind of stepping stones, and work experience for us, my team manage work experience for the council and across our schools, is a really important kind of point to understand actually what does work look like and what's that supported internship journey. So our Open Doors magazine is created by young people, and it's about informing employers and other young people about the opportunities available, because supported internships is an opportunity for employers, and we need to get that message out there. And the best people to do that, I think, is young people who've had that experience. So we've got 3 editions of Open Doors. They go out to all of our schools and colleges. And like I said, they're written by young people, they're produced by young people, all the articles, photographs, all the rest have been done. So they're a really good way to do that. And that gives us a way to sort of promote that offer across the wider network and into schools, I think is really important. So getting that message there early. We've also, and I was thinking about this while I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names. The speaker before was speaking, because I think it's about how do we then share that message with schools and with those people that are working with young people. So this is a bit of an overview of my team. We've got different kind of areas within the council where we do that, but we have teams that work with young people from year 9, and we're implementing that vocational profiling. So making sure that that conversation starts really early. We've got our education business partnership that promote work experience and making sure that is accessible for all. And then we've got our YEP team that work with young people 16 plus. So making sure that all of those teams are aware of supported internships, know what the pathway is, and know how to signpost it really confidently. And I know that Tim is on the call that leads our supported internships. I promise not to put him on the spot, but he does a really able job of making sure that that message goes across all of those teams. So when we're talking to those careers leaders and, you know, those people that work with young people every day, we can sort of share that message. So once we've got all that in place and we've got all this kind of wealth of information and we know where we're signposting it to, in terms of our social media, our next step was to create some dedicated case studies that we would be using to promote supported internships across our social sites. Now, I'm sure lots of local authorities are not unlike Cornwall Council, is that our social media is pretty locked down. It's not the fact that we can just put a post on at any point and write what we like. It has to be quite carefully managed, you know, for really good reasons. You know, we've got a lot of people following us, so we need to make sure it is. So we work really carefully with our comms teams within the council to make sure that we were following the guidelines, we were doing it in the right way, but also that they were on board with sharing our stories when we had them ready to share. So they went out in sort of a timely way, and we could have sort of regular feeds and at the times that we wanted them to go out and things like that. So we created these case studies that sit on, we've got what's called a Let's Talk site, which is a slightly more friendly version of the council's website, but it allows a sort of two-way interaction. So people can put comments, we can have sort of surveys and a bit more interaction. So we have these case studies that sit on there. And then what we've done is that when we put out a social media post, we link back to the case study that's on our website. So we're not putting a huge amount of information. We're just saying, hey, you know, Ryan started a supported internship. I'm saying Ryan because he's in front of me smiling there on that picture, that first picture there, and he's been creating some posts himself. But this is a supported internship. This is what's happened. Read more on our website, because we want to drive traffic back to our website and back to the information that we've created that I showed in earlier, you know, back to that Cornwall opportunity so people can find out more and hopefully sign up. Now, our social media, and we were looking at these yesterday in preparation for this, because our social media posts have gone through a bit of a journey in terms of how they look and feel. And these are some of our early posts that we were putting out, which I think look great, but actually they probably aren't as polished as what we've got now. So we've kind of looked at how we make sure that we've got a really nice, consistent branding that sort of aligns. And these are some of our more recent posts. But how do we strengthen that brand across our social media so it aligns to the council, but it also people recognise it as this is our supported internships programme, and also that this is not just about what the council's doing, it's about what our provider network is doing. So how are we shouting about not just the supported internships that we've got within the council, but the ones that we've got with the NHS, or the ones that we've got that, you know, with some of our independent providers. So we're giving that sort of breadth. We now have 6 supported interns in the council who are doing brilliant, and they now are creating our posts. So the ones that you see in front of you are created by our supported internships. They create the good news story, they interview each other, they put that good news story on our Let's Talk page, we post it, and then it links back to our good news story, which is fantastic. So we've seen, in terms of impact, we've seen a real growth in the number of people liking, sharing. I'm not much of a social media expert, so I'm always a bit like, when I start to use these terms, I'm not sure if I'm using them correctly, but we're getting these impressions, which are really important. It means that people are seeing our posts and they're reacting to them, and we're getting that kind of click back onto our site. So there's a little bit of our engagement stats. I'm told that they're really good. In education, you know, social media posts don't often get a huge kind of, you know, we're not sort of fluffy cats doing funny things, you know, so getting those impressions is really important. Just sharing this because one of the things that we've learned, and we've learned a lot, is when you post is really important. So posting at tea time, or, you know, sort of in that evening time, gets a better response than posting in the daytime, because probably like lots of us, we end up looking at our phones kind of when we finish work, whereas when I'm at work, I don't have any time to look at my phone. So, you know, so just making sure that we're timing, and when we've played a lot with what time do we sort of put them out. And that graph is just showing the sort of like the impressions at different times, so what that looked like. Now, what matters is it's not how many people like our posts, because that's kind of, you know, sort of whatever. It's how many people then follow through and come and have a look at the kind of information that we've got. So this one here is where we've had links from our social posts that have then come through to click on our case studies. So they've come and had a look and wanted to find out more information. And this for me is really important. I think on the next slide, it shows you sort of that growth that we've had over the last couple of years. And you can see that there's dips and spikes as we go through, but actually nobody was looking at our site. Like we were putting information on, but nobody was coming. And then actually through those social media sort of posts, we see that people are returning to us. And I'm sure that there's, you know, people that are coming through other sources as well. It's not just social media, but we are seeing a real growth, which is brilliant. And the most important thing is, what does that mean for our supported internships? So when I started, we weren't getting any young people that were approaching us to do a supported internship. And that surprised me. It was kind of like, this is a fantastic opportunity. Why aren't young people and parents and, you know, educators running to us and saying, tell me more about supported internships? You know, why, you know, how do we... And I think it is about getting that message out there, starting that planning early, and young people aren't aware of that journey that they can go on. This is showing the number of young people for our last year's supported internships who applied, who came through and said, I'm interested in doing a supported internship. This is just our one way that they can sort of come through to us. This is not all of our young people. We've got young people that are going directly to providers and, you know, and talking to us in other ways. But these are the ones that we've driven traffic to come and then, you know, apply via our sign up form that's on Cornwall Opportunities to say, I'm interested. And then for me, that's fantastic, because that has directly led to us having supported internships in the council and growing our offer across our other providers as well. So I think I might have just rattled through that in super quick time. That's our post that our supported interns have created to say thank you to their mentors for supporting them, you know, just before Christmas, which I think is a really lovely post. So that will be going out. Like and share if you see it. Follow Cornwall Council Together for Families, you know, it would be great. And we could share you as well, and we could sort of learn from each other. That would be brilliant. I think that's me, Lucy. I've been super quick.
No, that was exactly on time. Thank you so much, Janine. That was a brilliant crash course on how to really just do comms in general. So thank you. I really, really love that. And so great to see how that's then translated into supported interns. And I love the idea of cross-pollinating as well. So yeah, definitely look up each other, or if you share, if you share a supported internship post, share it with others. One thing that I find really useful that I really just rattling off right now is the hashtag supported internships. And you can, if you use that, then you can go find others. And I'm excited by what you just said, Janine. That's great. I'm just going to share my screen again. Oh wait, I'm going to share my screen to introduce Chloe Moran, who is from Liverpool City Council. Bear with me while the slides come up. I may also bring them down because I'm not entirely sure, Chloe, if you want me to share screen, but if you do, I have them.
Do you know what? I've tweaked them a little bit, if that's okay.
That's so fine. I didn't need to fuss about them. That's my bad. Over to you, Chloe. Really excited to hear about what's happening in Liverpool City Council.
Thank you. I'll just share my screen. And it is afternoon, isn't it? So good afternoon, everybody. I'm really excited to be presenting today. So yes, hopefully, let's see, is it working? Am I good to go?
Yeah, that looks great.
Fabulous, thank you. Thanks, Lucy. Yes, hi everyone, my name's Chloe Ford and I'm the SEND Employment Support Officer for Liverpool City Council. Do apologise, I'm a little bit snuffly today, so just bear with me if you can, but it's great to be here. So I'm really looking forward to kind of talking through our offer in Liverpool and how we kind of drive supported internships and drum up referrals. So I'm going to kind of talk you through these points on the screen now, a little bit about our offer, our branding, and some of the things really align with what Janine and Cornwall have been doing as well, which is really great to see. Our marketing, raising awareness, and also some of our referrals throughout the year as well. And again, if I'm waffling, just give me a wave so I know where my time is up to. So our offer then in Liverpool, so we've got supported internships, obviously traditionally for those with educational health and care plans. So we're working with 4 special educational needs schools and 3 colleges. And this year we've got over 50 interns on programme. We were very lucky and fortunate enough to be part of the pilot as well, because it's really needed. So we jumped on that opportunity in Liverpool, and we are currently now working with 3 partner colleges, and we've got 26 young people on programme. We're looking at 6-month intake, 6-month programs for our pilot, and our next intake will be in January, February and March. So some of the colleges are wanting to stagger them start. So again, we're looking at another 25 plus young people on them programs. We've brought our job coaching in-house as well. So for us, it's really important to drum up the quality and the outcomes of our programs. So we're really keen to kind of look at bringing our job coaches in-house and making sure we hit them targets that we want to achieve for our young people. So we've got 7 job coaches and 2 follow-on job coaches at the moment in Liverpool, which is exciting for us. So what we done initially is we created a brand, and this was co-produced with the young people on the programme in that year. And we felt that it was important to do this so they felt part of something, and also they actually was involved in the development of it as well. So as you can see there, we commissioned a company called Apt Creative, and we done some workshops with the young people and really let them lead in terms of what our logo looks like and what we wanted to be called, to spread the word of supported internships in Liverpool. So this is kind of what we come up with initially, and we designed a flyer as well to go along with that to promote the programme. We worked alongside our internal comms with this as well, to also make sure it aligns with the city council and everything was kind of on board that way. And then what we done, we looked at a bit of a rebrand then, to look at how can we like rebrand ourselves really, and kind of look at making it a little bit more youth friendly, and making different flyers for our different target audience really. So we've got obviously young people, we've got employers, but we also wanted to create some for parents and carers again. So again, we re-looked at working with Apt Creative, because they knew the young people, they knew supported internships, and we thought that was really, really important to kind of keep that consistency as we move through. Again, we done workshops with our young people. We also done workshops with employers as well, and parents and carers around this, to say, what do you want to see? How do we reach you? How do we engage you? So that was really good. So we done 3 sets of workshops really to develop these new marketing materials. And as you can see, the young people were getting really creative and actually drawed the different images, and that's when the Apt Creative then developed these little images from their specific drawings, which I think is really cool. And it's great that we've got specific colours for our specific target audience that we're working with as well. So we're really clear and consistent as we promote our programs throughout the city. And again, young people, these images are all based off young people that was part of the day. So they're really proud to see them and kind of own them really, which is important. So we also created a bit of a journey, a bit of a timeline as well, and this was again part of the discussions that we had with our young people, because I think sometimes when we look at supported internships, it can be a minefield in a sense, can't it? And young people will be like, yeah, I'm interested, but actually don't understand what goes into it. So we created this little timeline. We've got one for employers, and we've also got one for parents and carers as well. And I think that clearly outlines the expectations of the onboarding process, but also the process going through a supported internship with that end goal being employment at the end of it. So we've got 3 of them, again, consistently within the different colours, so it's easy to identify. So how can young people, parents and carers and employers find us? So we've got dedicated web pages on our .gov website, and we have an expression of interest on that, and that's where the majority of our expression of interest come from, obviously, but that's where the majority of our traffic comes from, really. And that's, so we've obviously got a send local offer page, but we find the .gov dedicated page just because people will type in supported internships Liverpool or Liverpool City Council what's available, and the .gov website comes up in the first instance, and then it links to our local offers. So that's been really key for us to have that core page. We have an Instagram page, we have a LinkedIn, we have an X, and we also have a YouTube page as well. And we are quite active on our social medias, especially now that we've got an in-house team. We have a social media working group, which is really exciting. So we're constantly sharing good news, and we have that consistent branding as well as we go through. But you can see there on our professional dashboard, and I've just took this screenshot this morning, but we've had 23.6 thousand views in the last 30 days on Instagram. And I think that's pretty impressive, if I must say so myself. So I'm really proud of some of the stuff that we're doing in our team to kind of push supported internships out. One of the other things we've done was we focus lots on marketing. We've also, we drive supported internships through the City Council. We do obviously work with our partnerships in our colleges, but we do a lot of the drive and a lot of the referrals and engaging the young people and different stakeholders and partners. So what we've done is we have a good relationship with our comms team, and we said, can we have our name in lights, and can we look at some billboards and some bus stops, because when you're walking through town you're always seeing loads of stuff from the City Council on there signposting. And I was like, well, if they can do it, why can't we do it? So I just asked the question, and he was like, absolutely, of course you can. So we developed well, our comms team developed this for us. And the QR code scans directly to our expression of interest. And this was on all, not just in the city centre, but it was on all of the interactive bus stops and billboards across Liverpool. So the reach was massive. Everyone that we spoke to was coming up to us saying, oh, I've seen it, I've seen supported internships, it's great, it's that exciting. So it was really positive for us, and as you can see, our team was made up as well when we also seen them, so we had to take some little cheeky selfies as well as we went through. But yeah, it was a really good thing for us to do that. It was actually free to do. So the City Council work closely with the advertising, open media, I think it's called. So they work closely with them, and basically if they don't sell their advertisement boards a month before, then they offer them out to the City Council. So for us, it was actually free to do. It didn't cost us any money at all, just a little bit of time in terms of obviously designing what that will look like. As I mentioned, it was across Liverpool, not just the city centre. It was shown over 10,000 times. I think when I'd seen it, it was actually shown over 53,000 times, which is absolutely amazing. And we had the QR code scanned over 100 times, and we got over 50 referrals in 1 month. Now, don't get me wrong, we did filter through them referrals, and some of them were appropriate and some of them wasn't. I think the good thing for us as well is that we have the two options in Liverpool. So we have our EHCP programs, but we also had the pilot. So a lot of them we were able to redirect to our programs. So we've done this twice now, and we're looking at doing it a third time as well. We just need to get in there at the right time when the council hasn't got specific priorities. So I would definitely suggest to look at that and kind of tap into your comms team if you're not already doing it, because there might be opportunities to tap into like this. A couple of other things we do in terms of reaching our young people in Liverpool is we host information sessions at youth friendly spaces. Education isn't always the right pathway for some of our young people, and especially if they're not currently engaged in anything at the moment, asking them to come to a college or a council building to find out more information, the turnout, what we found is more than likely going to be really low. So what we've done is we looked at some youth-friendly places, and we've used pins a couple of times now and Gravity Max as well. So we look at putting on some free games and pizza whilst learning about what's on offer. So we had a Christmas social yesterday in Pins as well, and we had over 80 young people attend that. So we tend to start off by doing a bit of a presentation and an overview of what supported internships are, what opportunities we've got, and we bring our partners involved in that as well. So our colleges, our job coaches and our employers that we've got. We also bring DWP along to that as well, so they can have them informal chats right off the get-go, and obviously we invite parents and carers along to that also. And then we say, go and have a little play, and then our team and our partners go round and chat to them dead informally. What are you interested in? Have you open to the NHS? Would you like to work in HMRC? And it works really, really well. We also invite young people to our graduations as well. So those that have expressed interest and are going through that recruitment process, come along to the graduations, see what some of our young people have achieved, and it kind of looks at it, if they can do it, so can I, kind of raising their aspirations for them and looking at a positive outlook of the programmes. And then we obviously link in with our local partners as well. So we work quite a lot. Merseyside Youth Association, our local schools and colleges, Career Connect. We've even done youth sessions, like 6:30 till 8:30 sessions. We've even done that to target young people that are going to like Autism Family Hub youth sessions, to say, what are you doing? You just want to work, are you interested in a supported internship? So we are really open to kind of explore as many different ways as we can to engage young people. So for us, that's the key, really. We also work closely with internal teams as well, like the virtual school, our care experience young people, our employment and skills team as well. We get referrals from them also. So yeah, a whole host of ways that we would reach our young people across the city. Here's some of the pictures of the events that we've done. So up the top here, this is Pins. I promise they are not shot glasses. They are orange juice and apple juice. Don't worry about that. So yeah, so this is, so you can see them engaging in the presentation, but then also having a little chat as well. We attend career fairs, our local offers, and we've got an event spreadsheet. Any events that are coming up, we will attend it, and we'll have a store to promote the programmes. This was also Gravity Max again. So this again, you can see the young people playing games, and our staff will kind of talk to them about it, and then look at who's suitable and take applications at that point as well. We also have done some marketing materials as well. So we had like little bags, little fidget toys, stress balls, pens, and then obviously we'll print our flyers off as well. So it's always nice to go home with a little bit of merchandise, isn't it, as well? And that will remind you that you've got to scan that QR code and register for the programme. So some of the stuff that we've done in terms of raising awareness within schools. So we've engaged with our SENIS team, which is the specialist teachers, to work in partnership with career leads and Senkos within our mainstream schools. They surveyed all of the schools to see what they know about supported internships and the different pathways for those young people with EHCPs, but also those young people on SEN support as well. From that information, we then decided to co-produce with our SENIS team a session to the career leads and the Senkos around the power of vocational profiles and different supported internship pathways. And that was massive. That was really, really positive. And we've got lots of referrals now from the schools that their young people are at risk of becoming NEET, or they feel like they're ready for that supported internship. So we've had lots of referrals that way as well, which has been really good. And we will go into schools and do coffee mornings, information sessions, assemblies, whatever that might look like. We also have co-produced a Liverpool specific vocational profile, and it's being tested with SEND and mainstream schools, and we've actually just got the final version through today. And yeah, that's really good. So we will be sharing that across all of our mainstream and SEND schools across the city, and wanting them to implement vocational profiles, our Liverpool specific one. And yeah, and then hopefully that'll again drum up some interest and referrals and just spark conversations as well about next steps and what that looks like. We have our planning for September 26th, so we are always recruiting throughout the year, all the time. But kind of this is what our planning looks like. So we will be going out again to recruitment in February time, open our applications, specifically start to target internal within the colleges, but also external within our partners as well. Do information sessions. We also have pre-internship employer-led programs. So that's basically designed for those young people that are interested but just don't know what they want to do, to give it a go at the employer and see whether or not they like it, and also the commitment that they need for a supported internship. And then, yeah, I won't go through all of this really, but you can kind of see there that we've got a bit of a plan in place and what we're doing in terms of our recruitment and finalising our September 26 cohort. Our referrals, so schools and colleges, we've got Career Connect and internal teams. We have external partners such as Merseyside Youth Association. We've got external marketing, just that I've gone through, and any networking and events that we do. And we've currently got 50 expression of interests on our expression of interest form from the 26th of September this year. We will filter through them, obviously, and we will see what's relevant and where we can refer people to our EHCP, non-EHCP, or other programmes that they might be interested in. And that's me in a nutshell. Well, not me, Liverpool in a whole. And I've got a fantastic team, so I've got to give them a little shout out as well. But yeah, thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Chloe. That was so in depth, and it's amazing hearing all the great work you're doing and seeing the photos too of yeah, but in action as well is so wonderful. So thank you. And I can see questions are coming through as well in the Q&A too, which is great. If we don't get time to answer everyone's questions as well, don't worry, we will make sure we follow up too. And I suspect the Q&A might be slightly short. So sorry about that, and we'll definitely follow up. But next up, we're going to start hearing from some young people. So we've got Rebecca Davies from Department for Education, which Rachel mentioned, who's going to take us through her journey so far in her internship. Rebecca, are you online and ready to share? And I'm also happy to share screen if that's helpful. Just gonna check. You can see Rebecca's with us.
I think you're on mute, Rebecca.
Oh. See if I can.
Basically, I have the slides on my PC, and I'm going to share from
Beautiful.
my computer.
That sounds great. Looking forward to it, Rebecca. Thank you.
Okay. Can everyone see that? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, I'm Rebecca, and I'm going to share my journey on as a supported intern on the one of the Bristol version of like the pilot, which is being trialed at the minute, and it's called Project Pilot. So my role at the minute is that I'm a supported intern at the Department for Education in the supported internships team. So like it's very handy for not just me having this experience, but also for the team, as I am an actual supported intern. So yeah, I've always had a huge interest in equality and diversity. So like when I got the opportunity to like work here, I was really excited. And then like before I became an intern, I had a few like failed attempts at university, and like so like my journey started in like September 2023. And at this point I literally never had a job before. so I had no experience in like even applying for a job. So like I just found myself scrolling through a lot of sites. I didn't really get anywhere. And then the job centre recommended that I start this thing called Spare, and it was just like helped with like things like just like normal job related skills, so like interview skills, professionalism, writing a good CV and cover letter, just like confidence building and things like that, which I found really helpful. And it was also great to be with other young people in the same boat as me. But I felt like I was missing one key thing in terms of applying for jobs, and that was like work experience. Because at this point, I had none, like whatsoever. And I I found out about Project Pilot during Sphere, and I just like the idea that I could have up to 3 substantial work placements with like job coach support, and also just classroom based sessions as well to help with things like CVs. So just a little bit about my journey so far and what I've done on Project Pilot so far is I started off in a place called the Children's Scrap Store, which is a non-for-profit, which is all about like reuse and like reducing waste going to landfill. So they have like this big warehouse where people can like either apply for membership and take some of the scrap, or like and do like play sessions as well and things like that. My role there was I was doing a lot of like admin for them, and I did a little bit of marketing as well because I helped design some social media posts with like customer feedback, which I found quite fun. Because it was like I got to read feedback from the customers, and as it's called the Children's Scrap Store, there was quite a lot of feedback from children, which is really like nice to read. And overall, I just really liked it there. It was I improved my I learned how to use Excel. I improved my Canvas skills, and like just learned um different like useful office skills. And I just overall liked it. It was really fun and friendly environment to work in. And then I moved on to Watershed, which is, and then specifically to Pervasive Media Studio in Bristol, which is basically a studio where they have like, they don't just do this, but they have artist residents coming to use the space to like, for research purposes and things like that. And they had a winter residency program, and I was in charge of talking to the 2 winter residents and writing a blog post based on my conversations with them. And I did quite well with that. I got really good feedback, and I'm really proud of what I put in. I was actually on the website, published to this day. I also was asked to do some research around newsletters and just like go through different ones and ask it, then like look at what I liked and what I didn't like about them, and then like I had to present my findings to the team, and they were really impressed with my work. And now I'm at the Department for Education. I've been here since September, and I just help the team with like the support and delivery of sport internships. So I help some of the things I've been doing so far is I've been creating like documents, assisting with like project management. So like I've been booking a lot of meetings and emailing, and I am also helping with like doing spot checks to make sure that the grants that are given to local authorities are being spent correctly. So did Project Pilot actually help me? Yes, I definitely think it did. It helped me build confidence in many different ways. And it so like and also this pushed me up my comfort zone a little bit, because I wouldn't have started volunteering for a charity shop if it wasn't for that. And also I would definitely don't think I would have started to consider a career in the civil service if it wasn't for Project Pilot because like I just thought it was too advanced for me, but I seem to quite like it here. And it also decides like the opportunity to just be in different working environments and see whether it's like it's the right environment for me and just what it's like and stuff, and also just like develop my skills and like also that wouldn't have happened without the support of the staff that were on the program, both the tutors and the job coaches. So I got some success stories. This is Nathan. He was on the program last year with me. And he started off, his first placement was just in a cafe doing like some like cleaning. And then he moved on to do a charity shop to do some till work because he wants to learn to use a till. And then his third and final placement was he worked in like a busy kitchen in a hotel in the centre of Bristol, and he really got the time to like learn different culinary skills that is quite useful, and he did quite well in that placement, and yeah, he really enjoyed it. So then he finished that placement, and the program finished. By the first version of the program was I was on it last year and this academic year as well. And they took his CV to like different places and his portfolio as well with all the photos of him. And this one here is Nathan at his new job. So he went to an interview for this restaurant, and he was originally just going to like wash pots and things like that, but he actually got offered to become a chef. He wanted to train him to become a chef, and he's doing really well at it, and he's really enjoying it. And then this is Max. He initially wanted like performing arts placement because that's the like environment that he's used to being in. Unfortunately, that wasn't really something that was quite easy to find, but they spotted that he's got good people skills. He's quite confident. So like he'd be really good as like a front of house. So that's him in his first. I'm not sure if it's in his first placement or now that he's working there, but he started his placement in a place called Molly's Diner, and he did so well that now he's been offered a job, and he's still there. So I asked like some of my peers on the program this year about what they like about Project Pilot and how is it helping them be engaged with their employment journey. And overall, you can see that like love the support from the job coach. I find it really helpful. They also like the opportunity to just make friends and like with like-minded people, and just meet new people basically. And just like the opportunity that we had, like we get to give us some work experience as well, and also just like the Monday like the college sessions as well, where we're doing like working on CVs and writing cover letters and useful things like that, and also just like applying for jobs. What would I give? What advice a local authority to engage young people in supported internships? So I would say to make sure that internships are practical and accessible. So basically that means like it's very important as like especially for people with SEND that they can access the internships that they're doing. And just like build partnerships with a range of different schools and colleges, charities, etc. And like a range of them. So they're offering like quite a range of different placements and not just one category, to reach as many people as possible. And I would just obviously keep the focus on like actually real progression rather than just ticking boxes, and just using data and feedback from people all the time, and then also just champion to employers that like internships are not just something that's nice to have. It's really beneficial for both the intern and the employer. I asked for some advice. I asked my peers what advice they would give, and I'm not going to read out each individual comment, but overall, you could say social media is a common suggestion. So, like, they really feel like using social media to reach out to people is very important. Especially as a lot of young people will be on social media. Also, just like really using like how a supported internship can like help people who are struggling, young people who are struggling with getting into employment, and just use that as a selling point. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. That was wonderful. It was so nice to hear about your story and all the work you've done. And it's such important work you're doing as well. It's really brilliant. And then also to hear about other young people. Really exciting to hear that you can see yourself in the civil service. I'm sure Rachel's excited to hear that too. Um, and really great to hear. Yeah, I agree with like the data and feedback as well around it's a constant kind of progression, isn't it, of what's working, what are young people saying is working, could be different.
Yeah.
And social media seems to be something that keeps popping up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that's brilliant. Thank you so much. Lots of claps going around. So if it's all right, I'm going to just share my screen again as I faff about with that. And we have another young person who will be sharing what other people have said and what they think as well. So I'm just going to get the slide up to introduce Emma, but bear with me because we're fairly down into the session now, which is wonderful. So yeah, you can see that we're going to hear from some young people's voices, particularly the Young Inclusion Champions. So just a very brief background, and Emma will add to this as well. But at NDTi, we run a peer support group, and that was kind of born out of another program we did called Time to Talk Next Steps. And some of the members of this group created the Young Inclusion Champions, which secured funding from the Global Children's Fund to train professionals on inclusion, which is really exciting. Emma Stone is one of those young people who's one of the Young Inclusion Champions and is also interning with us at NDTi. So they're going to read through some quotes and also give their perspective on some questions that we posed to the peer support group. Are you there, Emma? Are you able and ready to? Yeah, wonderful.
Hello.
Feel free to introduce yourself and add anything I missed.
My name's Emma. I've been working with NDTi for about 3 or 4 years-ish. Now I want to say, so yeah, I am very lucky. I am very lucky and very thankful to be on the team with Lucy. So yeah, next slide, please. If you were in charge of telling young people about supported internship, how would you do it? So we have some comments in speech bubbles in different. So yeah, I would do it so that it's easy to understand, and I'll do it on like well-known platforms so that people could get it out there. So yeah, next slide. Can you think of a time can you think of a time you saw something you wanted but didn't do, go for it? What would you do? So yeah, next slide, please. Can you think of a time that can you think of a time you saw something you wanted but didn't do, go for it? What would you do? So yeah, next slide, please. Can you think of a time you saw something you wanted but didn't do, go for it? What would you do? So yeah, next slide, please. Can you think of a time you saw something you wanted but didn't do, go for it? What would you do? So yeah, next slide, please. Can you think of a time you saw something you wanted but didn't do, go for it? What would you do? So yeah, next slide, please. Can you think of a time you saw something you wanted but didn't do, go for it? What would you do? So yeah, next slide, please. Can you think of a time you saw something you wanted but didn't do, go for it? What would you do? So yeah, next slide, please. Can you think of a time you saw something you wanted but didn't do, go for it? What would you do? So yeah, next slide, please. Can you think of a time you saw something you wanted but didn't do, go for it? What would you do what got in your way? I would say someone with SEN needs. A lot of things can get in our way. It's either our disability or in general just trying to understand different social norms and just trying to be normal in a world that isn't normal for us. So yeah, I would say that I can think of a few things that I wanted to do, but I didn't go for because of my physical challenges as someone with a physical disability. So yeah, next question, please. What advice would you give to oh, sorry. What advice would you give to local authorities to make sure that young people feel included and listened to? I would say that. Yep, I'm doing. Do you help? No. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we have. Okay, yeah. What advice would you give local authorities to make sure young people feel heard and listened to? I would say just give us a chance and just give us time to understand what you're asking us and just try and make it as simple as possible, not to overwhelm us as someone with physical and mental challenges. So yeah, next slide. Or is that it?
That was all of them. So wonderful. Thank you. Was there anything you wanted to add before I...
No, not really, but thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Emma. And I don't know whether you sense this or just intrinsically knew, but we're slightly behind schedule. So you were very concise just then. I really appreciate it. So thank you. Absolutely wonderful to hear your thoughts on that. And also on the screen are other young people's thoughts. And again, the slides will go out so you can see those. Wonderful.
Sean gave me my food, but I don't know how to put it.
So next up, I'm not sure, Carmel, if you wanted to introduce, or I'm happy to, but we've got DFN Project Search next up.
I think it's fallen off the bed. I put it.
Might be someone.
Yeah, I knew it.
Not on mute at the
I was
moment. And I might need to. Oh, okay. Okay, I think I might have popped themselves on mute. All right, well, I'll just jump in. Really excited to have DFN Project Search join us today as well. And they're going to share a little bit about their findings on effectively reaching young people, parents and carers. So I'm going to hand over to Harry and Lauren today. Are you on the call at the moment and able to jump in?
Can you hear us okay?
Yep, can do.
Brilliant. Just, we are at our Christmas away date, so if you hear festive wildness in the background, we apologise. We'll do our best. Just flag us if you can't hear us.
No worries at all. Thank you for joining us at your Christmas away days.
No
I hope some
problem,
of the
it's been
festivity comes.
Right, we'll just share our screen. Just prepare a couple of slides for us. Fabulous. So thank you for the lovely introduction, Lucy. So yeah, my name's Lauren Davis. I'm Head of Advocacy and Engagement at DFM Project Search, and with me.
Hi, I'm Harry Joyce. I am the Youth Advisory and Criminal Assistant here at Project.
Thank you. So yeah, we're super happy to be here. We're going to just share a little bit of what we kind of are doing at DFM Project Search to spread the word about supported internships nationally, but then also kind of really importantly what we've learned from some of our partners across the country and what we've learned from our youth advisory group as well. So we'll kind of share a little bit of a mix, and I know we're tight on time, so we'll be as quick as we can. So just to start with how we're raising awareness of SIs nationally, I'll hand over to Harry to talk a little bit about one of the main ways we're doing that.
Yeah. So one of the main ways we do that is we have a national support day, so everybody's aware about.
Harry's dropped down a little bit for me. I'm so sorry.
Me
Maybe if your
too.
face is visible.
Can't hear
I
him.
still can't hear. Sorry, it was working before. I'm not sure.
Could you maybe get a bit nearer the mic, Harry?
I can't hear you.
Too much Christmas turkey.
Computer saying go back to Christmas.
Any better now? Any better now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's try
Let's
again.
try again.
Flip to you, Harry.
So one of the things we are doing is we have a National Supported Internship Day every year on the 27th of March. Mark it in your calendar. But one of the main things we have done to try to spread the word of supported internships while also engaging young people is having a youth parliament in Parliament. And I think it's going to be on it. It's not going to be on the actual day this year, is it? It's going to be on the Monday.
To be honest.
To be announced. We're going to do something again in Parliament. But last year we held a first ever youth Parliament event, which was amazing because we had over 100 young people across all different supported internship providers, job coaches, interns, graduates, all coming together to speak to MPs and government to really spread the message of the brilliant work supported internships are doing, and to be announced is exciting events coming. So not about to say. So that's just one thing we are doing. And then one thing, this is the
From our youth advisory.
then this one thing we are doing is we have a youth advisory group here at DFM Project Search. So some of the things youth advisory groups are saying are so hearing about so this is kind of like hearing about sports intensives in the last year of school and college, not really having understanding around it, and the parents and carers kind of like safety on site, personal reasons, benefits. So these are like the negative things I want to say. And then if you go to the next slide, it's the do it. And next slide is the positive things. So boosting confidence, boosting confidence, build confidence boosting, engagement boosting, school engagement, all these positive things that come out of doing a sports internships. And of course, the independence for the individual and the family's independence as well. That's not being included, but that's something that has come out time and time again. We do see, and that self-advocacy piece as well, that just naturally comes over time, which we see, and which we see from our youth advisors. We don't need to hear it because we see it. Even if they don't say it, we do see it.
Yeah, I think there's some useful pieces
there's
on there
some
around what they've
very
called about marketing.
marketing area to marketing it on social media such as Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you name it. If you can market it because that's where your young people are. That's where your young people are going to be, and that's where the families are going to look and see that, okay, if my son or daughter came to me and they said, oh, have you seen this program? It's going to help me. I'm going to look into it as a parent, hopefully. Yeah. So next slide is NDTi.
Thank you. So yeah, and then just a few other bits that we've picked up from our partners who are kind of doing it really well in terms of marketing supported internships. So one of the key things is making sure that there's widespread knowledge within the local authority and within the various teams who kind of have those touch points with our potential future interns. And obviously working with the Send Employment forums as well, making sure that they're kind of really engaged with employer ambassadors. Making sure that it's really easy to navigate on the local offer. I know we've done it a few times in different areas, and there's often a really big difference with how many click-throughs you need to find the supported internship. So make sure that that's really simple to navigate for a parent or a young person. Also engaging with parent-carer forums and local parent groups. I know in a former life I was a job coach in Blackpool, and we used to engage with our parent-carer forum, and we had so many parents who used to meet at really fun places like the zoo. So we'd get to have conversations with parents of 10, 11, 12-year-olds who were kind of learning about what was available to them in future years. Also having good links with job centres, obviously schools and feeder colleges as well. And our parent carers have been telling us recently about the importance of just kind of that advertising where they are naturally. So being able to see a poster at a supermarket or a GP surgery that has a simple click-through link makes their life easy to find out a little bit more. It's quite a quick way to do it. And obviously that mix of digital and paper information as well. So social media, like Harry and I think Rebecca was talking about, and also having paper posters and things as well. Also parent interest events and making sure that they're at a range of times. So kind of scheduling things in the evening when we know more parents tend to be available, and sharing local stories that kind of hit home more because they're people that you identify with, and kind of sharing those news stories as well is really helpful. And then we just wanted to highlight as well that I think it can be easy to fall into the trap of advertising and marketing supported internships to that kind of 18 to 24 bracket. But we've just recently shared our data from our 23-24 kind of cohort of intern graduates. And we really interestingly see that the 16 to 17-year-olds do, as you can see, much better. They're 74% employed. So it's a smaller group, but we know that those who come on board at 16, 17 we're done with college, we are ready for employment. So making sure that we're kind of tapping into that group as well. And if they're ready, then trusting that they are ready and that kind of it's the right time for them. And then just to finish, a couple of stories from some parents that we work with. So Mel shared as an older parent, it was something that she was just always so concerned about the future and what support was available, and had no idea about supported internships existing up until she just heard it from word of mouth from a friend a few months before her son started. So I think just that message of getting the message out earlier is so important. And also Linda and Giles, who shared about how they heard in their final EHCP review for their daughter Beth. And again, they hadn't heard about the opportunity earlier in school, and that they would have loved to kind of have known and been able to prepare a bit earlier in advance. So I think just some examples to hit home that we can definitely reach out at the earliest point and give our parents, carers and young people the chance to kind of know what's out there and what options are available to them. So a very whistle-stop tour. I hope we didn't take up too much time, but we've just popped our website and our email if you do want to pick up with any questions, then we're very happy to. Thank you very much for the time, everybody.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Lauren and Harry. That was brilliant. Yeah, really great to hear about some of the employment outcomes, and then also that point driven home again of kind of the early engagement, how much it helps, and kind of the impact of that. So thank you so much, and so great to hear about the Parliament involvement as well. That's really exciting, where it needs to be heard as well, definitely. So thank you. We have about 5 minutes left for questions, which I realize is not a huge amount of time, and there is a little bit of wrap up that we hope to do as well. So I will just begin with some of them, and we'll see how far we get. May need to cut it short, and we'll follow up with any of the questions. So the first one is from Carl. For economic development teams within local authorities, they often have a responsibility around employment and skills. Is there any good practice where children services work closely with economic development teams in supporting for preparing for adulthood? Wondering if anyone has any thoughts on that, any of the speakers, and or we know that there are lots of local authorities joining us on the call today. if you have any thoughts on that. We can also pop it in an email. Oh, Chloe.
I hate that awkward silence, Lucy, so I thought I'll come in and help you out here.
Thank you.
So yeah, we do a little bit with our employment and skills because they used to be in children's services. They've just recently moved over to regeneration. But what we've been doing is we will obviously work with them in terms of if they got any young people or young adults that they're working with that can benefit from supported internships. And then vice versa, if some of ours don't go into employment at the end of it for whatever reason, we will refer to our employment and skills and look at kind of linking up in terms of the YPG grants and now the Youth Trailblazer grants as well, and how can we kind of to support those young people to tap into them grant funded opportunities at the end of our supported internship. So we do work closely with our employment and skills team. I think that's super important to do that.
Really?
Naturally, we cross over, sorry.
No, that's great. As pesky mute came on, but yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, thank you so much, Chloe, for giving that as an example. It's really, really helpful. I hope that helped Carl. I also saw that there was a question that Carl asked around the percentage of placements moving into work, and I think Lauren and Harry's presentation covered that a little bit, but let me know if you want to follow up, Carl. There was also a quick question from Christina around how many support internship placements are on offer in Cornwall, and are there more places than young people taking them up? So I think that might have been a question for you, Janine. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so how many places? Yeah, we do have more places than we have young people available. Yeah, so we've got 3 DFN project sites that can take 8, but actually we could probably extend them further. And then we've got some other sites sort of through our independent providers as well, which are generally always full. So yeah, so I think we're sitting on about maybe 40 to 50 this year. I need to look at the numbers, but yeah. And
that's totally fair.
That's the tricky thing. All of this work that we're going to do though is going to fill them all up. I'm going to get it on a bus, the back of a bus or a billboard. I like that idea.
Yes, I do too. That sounds brilliant. Awesome. Thank you for that, Janine. There are a couple more questions, but I will follow those up after today's session, if that's all right, because we've got 2 minutes to go and just a couple little pieces to share, so that you have as many resources kind of going away as possible. So again, bear with me while the slides get back up. It's quite a big document, so it takes a moment. I'm going to go all the way to the end. Wonderful. Hopefully you can see some of the resources. So we've got lots of resources on the Internships Work webpage, which you can click on and go there. 2 that we wanted to pull out is how to engage young people in supported internships, which is an article that we've written, and we'll add this webinar to that as well. And also Ruth's Top Tips, who facilitates our peer support and is really brilliant, and they've put together brilliant some top tips for brilliant meetings with young people. And there's also some links to our past webinars as well. This will all go out too, so don't feel like you have to jump at it now. You'll get it in an email. And I also wanted to draw everyone's attention to the Internships Work Conference 2026, which we now have live, which is really exciting. I've been working on it for a while, so it's nice that it's out there. And we really encourage as many people to come as possible. It'll be on Tuesday, the 24th of February, 2026. It'll be online, so you can join from wherever you are, and it is free. And so that you're not kind of in one meeting the whole day online, which we know can be a little bit tough sometimes. We've broken it down into 3 sessions. So we've got kind of a celebration session of stories and successes in the morning, and then we'll have a session on the pilot in the afternoon, and in the evening we'll have a session for parents and carers and families. Just conscious of the time, I'm gonna get us to the next place, but you can book your place through that button, or I'll also put a link in the chat right now. We also have an evaluation form that I swear is super quick. So if you are able to click on that, that would be really wonderful and really helpful for us, and will inform our conference as well and how we can do that so that it really meets your needs. And with all that and with 1 minute over, sorry, just like to give a huge thanks to all of our guest speakers. We had so many today and everyone was really generous with sharing kind of their perspective or what they're doing, and also working with us as the times kind of moved around and fluctuated. So thank you so much. I really hope that everyone gained as much as I did from this session today or more. And thank you to Carmel and Linda for helping kind of structure this. It really wouldn't have gotten to be, I think, this useful without it. And thank you everyone for joining us. Is there anything anyone wanted to add? No. Wonderful.
Big thank you for organising, Lucy. It's been fab. Lots of support in the chat as well. Thanks everyone for joining.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Rachel. Really glad you could join as well. And I hope Callum feels better. And feel free to stay in touch. You can email us. We've got LinkedIn too, and newsletters. But thank you, everyone. We hope you have a wonderful day.